should help, though.
On behalf of the General Pułaski Association, the Board of Directors, we extend to everybody a warm welcome to the 2012 annual Wreath-Laying ceremony. The mission of the General Pułaski Association is to preserve and encourage the legacy of General Pułaski, who gave his life for our country. At this point of the ceremony, I'd like to turn it over to the President of the General Pułaski Association, Brian Rusk.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. Thank you for your dedication chairing this event for the last 2 decades, and we thank the good Lord for the best weather we've had in 20 years for this wreath-laying ceremony. I'm not used to seeing people in just jackets like this. Usually they have overcoats and scarves on. We are here today to pay tribute to Revolutionary War hero, crusader for freedom in 2 continents, father of the American cavalry, and patriot who died at the age of 32 fighting for our freedom, Count and General Casimir Pułaski. We have dignitaries here. I would like to acknowledge Commander Crystal, the Polish veterans here. We thank you for coming, Commander. We'll start on my far left, the Cheektowaga supervisor who has helped with our parade for many years, Barry Holtz. Would you like to say a few words, sir?
As always, I'm very proud to be here representing my Polish heritage and also representing probably one of the largest Polish communities in Western New York. I'm very proud to be here, and I thank you guys for keeping our Polish heritage alive.
Thank you. And again, the parade will be July 22nd in Congressman Higgins' district in Cheektowaga, 1:30 p.m. on Harlem Road. To my far left is a woman who's led the parade several times, whose husband is Polish, Congresswoman Hochul.
Thank you.
And we thank the sheriff. He always brings the mounted division here, and it's significant because General Pułaski was the head of the cavalry. We have Charles Tomaszewski, whose father was the president of the Polish-American Congress, representing the mayor.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having us. And on behalf of the Buffalo Police Department, it's great to be a part of this and see some veterans that are still hanging in there, of which my dad was a big part of. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. We have the new county clerk who participates with all our Pułaski events, Chris Jacobs.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honored to be here. I just recently became county clerk, and I understand that this is the nicest event, nicest weather of any one of these events, and so I think coincidence? I think not. I think that's the, thank you very much for being here. And it was an honor to be here and to honor such a wonderful person for this community. I look forward to being at the event tonight and to be participating in the future in some more events.
We're honored to have you. I'd like to thank you very much, County Clerk Chris Jacobs. I'd like to mention that Congresswoman Hochul and Congressman Brian Higgins officially unveiled the portrait of General Pułaski at the VA hospital. We thank them for their support. Our next speaker is Congressman Brian Higgins, who sponsored a resolution in the U.S. House to make General Pułaski an honorary United States citizen. Congressman Brian Higgins.
Thank you very much, Brian. Brian, thank you for your leadership. As Brian has mentioned, this is one of 3 major events honoring General Pułaski, not only at the parade, but also at the Veterans Hospital as well, in this annual wreath-laying, which is very important. A revered military soldier in Poland comes to the United States and fights along the Americans in the Revolutionary War, saves George Washington's life. Known as the father of the American cavalry. We have an extraordinary opportunity here to embrace this great heritage, this great life of this great man who served 2 wonderful nations and reminds us of our common heritage, particularly the Polish heritage, right here in Buffalo and Western New York. So we thank the leadership of this great commission. We encourage you to continue your work, and we will stand beside you continually to make sure that his great work on behalf of freedom throughout the world and the United States is never forgotten.
Thank you very much, Congressman Brian Higgins, the renovated congressman here. It's wonderful to have you here, and he participates in all our events, and I believe he has it on his schedule that he will be leading the parade with Congressman Hochul this year. We have a blood relative of General Casimir Pułaski, and the whole family behind us here, Stanley Pułaski Sr., who is a descendant of General and Count Pułaski. Stanley Pułaski Sr.
We honor Casimir Pułaski because he defended freedom. He served it, he lived it, and he died for it. Casimir was born March 4, 1747. Some 260 years later, he became an honorary citizen of the United States. One can only wonder how long it will be before Poland will receive a visa waiver signed into law. Casimir was wounded at the Battle of Savannah and taken aboard the brig Wasp on October 11, 1779, and was buried at sea. We respectfully remember Casimir Pułaski and the way he cherished freedom. We also honor the many Poles who have made sacrifices so others may live happier lives. We particularly want to give recognition to the courageous Polish people of today who demonstrate that Casimir Pułaski's love of freedom is still alive. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Stanley Pułaski, descendant of General Casimir Pułaski. To my right is U.S. Bankruptcy Judge Karol Budzki.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here once again. As we all know, the Polish community in Buffalo really has its origins from 1873 when St. Stanislaus Parish was organized. And so for 138 years, this community has celebrated this event as a symbol not only of our devotion and remembrance of Polish heritage, but also of the role of Poles in the history of the United States. And I think we can be proud of the fact that once again we're continuing that tradition and celebrating this event and continuing our commitment to freedom both in the United States and throughout the world.
Thank you, Federal Judge Karol Budzki. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you a longtime director of the General Pułaski Association and a former Grand Marshal at our parade, County Judge Michael Petrushko.
Thank you. Once again, I am honored to be included in this annual commemoration of the life of Count Casimir Pułaski. First of all, I'd like to commend and thank Brian and all of the officers and directors of the Pułaski Association for their efforts in sponsoring this wreath-laying ceremony every year. Count Casimir Pułaski, Polish exile who fought in the American Revolution, is today revered as one of the greatest soldiers of all time. His outstanding military skills and devotion to the ideals of liberty and justice led him to offer his services to the cause of American independence. Rising to the rank of Brigadier General and Chief of the Cavalry, Count Pułaski commanded the valiant Pułaski Legion and served this country with distinction and bravery. His outstanding service typified the great courage of the Polish people, as well as their love of freedom and willingness to commit their lives to the struggle against oppression and tyranny wherever it occurred. Count Pułaski is an inspiration to all Americans and to all individuals throughout the world who embrace liberty. And it is most appropriate that we gather here today at the base of the statue to remember his contributions and his sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Petrushko. Thank you for the devotion to our organization. We have two members of the State Senate delegation. Congressman Higgins told me they're here. We're happy to have you both, and we'll call on both of them for remarks. Our past Grand Marshal of the parade, Senator Tim Kennedy.
Thank you very much. To Brian Russ of the Pułaski Association, congratulations to all of you. It's always thrilling and honoring, and I'm always honored to be here with all of you at this tremendous ceremony. I've been doing this since I was a member of the Erie County Legislature. And Mr. Cheektowaga, Ray Duza told me you have to be at the wreath-laying ceremony because it recognizes not only the history of Polish Americans in the Polish community, but it recognizes American history. And General Pułaski, we owe him a tremendous debt of gratitude for his service to this country and his service to this world in such a dignified way in fighting for independence and fighting for people of this country and being such an incredible figure in American history and world history. So again, it's a tremendous honor to be here with all of you once again, and I appreciate what you all do for this community.
Thank you, Senator. We have a former director of 10 years of this organization, the former Niagara County clerk, who used to come in from Niagara County for all of our events, and now State Senator George D. Maziarz.
Thank you.
Senator Maziarz.
Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate the invitation, like my colleagues in government and judiciary, to be here today. I want to recognize the Polish American Veterans Association and the great Polish tradition, like General Pułaski. They fought for our country. Thank you very much for your service. We appreciate it. Again, I just want to congratulate Brian and the association. Every year, regardless of the weather, regardless of the noisy trains that go by, they're out here to honor General Pułaski. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator George Maziarz. Thank all of our directors for coming. Again, tonight we do have our banquet with District Attorney Frank Sedita and Supreme Court Justice Debbie Chimes as our keynote speakers tonight at our installation 6 o'clock at the Millennium Hotel. Also, we're giving out the Dr. Harach Karmanukian 2 scholarships out tonight. Now we'd like to have a moment of silence before we lay the wreath in memory of General Casimir Pułaski, who died fighting for our freedom. So please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Now we'd like our elected officials to please come forward, Jerry Inda, and we'll place the wreath in memory of General Casimir Pułaski. And here. And here. Oh no. Okay, if you'd like to plant that to the ground, please.
Look at that. The ground's not even frozen.
We thank you all for paying tribute to the great patriot who died.